Yo, 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 what up? What's going on, guys? Wick, what's up, dude? Hey, Tupac confirmed, dog. What's up, brother? Ferret, my dude. What's up, guys? What you doing? What you doing? What it do, fam? Happy Tuesday, guys. Happy Tuesday. Usually better than Monday anyways, am I wrong? Or am I right? Am I right? You know what I'm saying? What's going on, guys? Yo, Ferret, I watched that video. I meant to put some. I meant to tag it yesterday with some like some emotes, and I forgot, dude. Sorry, it was a weird night. I had some stuff going on. Monday, day 2. Unscrewing something someone did at work. That is the absolute best, is it not? Oh, dude, you love that, don't you? Dude, hey, brother. Man, that's like, god dang it, dude. The epitome of babysitting, Doug. You know, the job I had, the last job I had before I started streaming, I was managing an IT section of about 15 to 20 individuals. And usually I felt like I was babysitting at least half to 3/4 of those individuals, you know? And that's what it felt like, dude. Felt like a constant struggle of not being able to focus on what I should have been working on. It was undoing problems other people had made because they weren't competent. I had a few good people underneath me, but most of them it was constant babysitting. You know, there was a good chunk of them anyways. Constant babysitting, just it was soul-crushing work, dude. It was insane. How brutal it was. How exhausted I was every single day getting home after doing that kind of stuff, man. Jesus. It was really, really, really brutal. So I understand what you're dealing with, my friend. I do. Maybe not specifically because I don't know exactly what you're working on, but in general, in a general sense, dude, I got you, my friend. So I feel for you, brother. Wick, what the crap are you doing, dude? Already with this stuff? My mod is trolling me, dude. Yeah, the video was sick, dude. I was actually, I don't think you were hanging out yesterday in between the news and the gaming. I was gonna ask you if you cared if I showed it on stream, because it's pretty cool. I like you, dude. You mobbed out on those fools. That was great, dude. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll probably show it off today then, dude. Like in between doing the news and some gaming stuff, I'll pop it in there and show everybody what you melting those individuals. That was pretty neat, dude. I appreciate you sharing it. Wick, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing right now? What are you doing in here, dude? Huh? In my English only channel, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing, bro? It's Spanish, cool. Oh, English only. Yeah, like you didn't know that, dude. See, you're setting a bad precedence here for everybody that's going to end up seeing this, right? You know what I mean? Or you could just speak your native language, you know, and the only language that I speak, and the language that we use in this channel. You know what I mean? Sure, translate for me. What are you trying to tell me this morning? Well, bad English, yeah. I never said I spoke good English. So, thanks for specifying, Ferret. The rodent? Oh, bro. Send me a reference to The Fifth Element. Dude, I refer to myself all the time as like a terrible English speaker, so that's funny. I don't remember that reference to Fifth Element, but it's funny that I always talk about myself. This being an English-only stream because I'm a language pleb and I only can speak and read, obviously, and English. Unfortunately, because I love the fact there's so many people out there that are bilingual or multilingual, you know, and I think that's amazing. My daughter is actually teaching herself French. She runs around here all the time speaking French. I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying. You know, like I think it's awesome that you're doing that, but I can't talk to you unless you speak to me in English, you know. So I think it's amazing, but the reason I have to keep it English only is because I have no idea what people are saying. I can't moderate it, the channel correctly if people aren't speaking the language that I speak. So I don't know. But Wick likes to troll me out like that. How dare you assume English is my native language? What's your native language, Wick? That was a bad assumption. What's your native language, Wick? Pleb? Hang on. All right, sorry, man. My bad. My bad. I'll remember that moving forward, dude. I apologize. I figured it was gonna be something like that, but yeah, dude, I'm sorry. My apologies, dude. I hope you accept that apology. I'm sincerely apologize there. Um, I would, be interested to find out how you came to be a native Klingon speaker. You know, that's probably a wild story there. Oh, dude, I vaguely remember that now, Ferret. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's funny, dude. I basically only speak bad English, so I think I've got him beat. Yeah, yeah. All right, man. So today, I like it, dude. Nice, Ferret. Um, I got that. I got what you did there, dude. So we will be doing day 7 of the forest. It looks like, as long as Pinky is able to roll today. He had a really busy day yesterday. Work got really wild for him, and hopefully today will be better. He'll be able to come get back into the forest with us today. If not, dude, we'll just remain agile. We'll bounce back into our playthrough that we started yesterday of Yoku's Island. Yoku's Island. I couldn't think of the name of it for a second. Yoku's Island Express. It was a fun time, dude. I really enjoyed that game. It's really, really neat. It's right up my alley, dude. I love pinball and I love Metroidvanias. Metroidvanias are like my bread and butter, dude. I love those games. And that was a really good recommendation, Wick. I appreciate it, dude. So, one way or the other, it'll probably be the forest, but if we need to play something else, that'll be what it is. That'll be what it does. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Well, I mean, so it's Metroidvanias are always a bit of puzzle solving. They're good Metroidvanias, anyways. Are always a bit of puzzle solving in a way that's like, quite often it has to do with, can you solve it now? Or are you going to have to obtain some ability that will allow you to solve it later? And you have to end up doing some backtracking, things like that. Usually it's somewhat, but yeah, the Pinball Incorporation, dude, I've never seen a game that was a Metroidvania that incorporated the pinball like mechanics in it too. And it's very, very fun. It's really chill. It's really relaxed. Dude, the soundtrack is amazing, by the way, too. Do they actually have that soundtrack to buy? Because, dude, the soundtrack is super chill. It doesn't look like it. Well, I mean, on that note, you should have played a while ago. Wick, I have so many games that I should have played a while ago. You know what I mean? That's the trouble, dude. Is like, uh, how do you get all the games in? You know what I mean? It's I mean, I showed off my library yesterday. I haven't put a dent in my library, dude. There's so many great games that I still have that I still want to play. Why is my Steam player such a hot flipping mess, dude? We're supposed to be listening to BPM, by the way. Why? What's wrong with my soundtracks, dude? I love gaming soundtracks. What's wrong with my soundtracks, brother? Huh? Why are you hating? What's wrong with gaming soundtracks, dude? I love OSTs. I think they're fantastic, man. Aside from the fact that Steam's music player is an absolute piece of trash can, dude. It's a hot piece of garbage. I love video game music, man. You cut the side of your hand? Why'd you do that? Don't do that. You need your hands, dude, to play games. Don't worry about the smoothie stuff. You just did it? Steam Music Player, dude, is really easy. If you go just like, so you can actually just install OSTs, and if you go into your OSTs or your soundtracks and look at them, you can just click play album, and it'll just automatically start the music player. Or you can go into the view setting, like check it out. We'll just hop over there. Let's go ahead and get into the news segment stuff for this morning. Good morning. Let's go ahead and hop into this. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Good to see you guys. Let's go ahead and get into this gaming news segment, okay? I'll flip and talk forever if we don't go ahead and kick this off. But let's take a look at what we're listening to this morning. First off, here's the Jam-a-Lam. This is BPM, Bullets Per Minute soundtrack. Good stuff. Brother, stop. This is a rhythm-based first-person shooter roguelike game. It is a very cool game. It's got a great art style. This is the kind of art style you'll see in the game. It's got a very kind of sunburn kind of wash feel to it. There's a lot of dark tones and then a lot of red and orange tones, yellow tones to the game and everything. So it's got a very cool art style, a very good kind of color aesthetic to the game. It's kind of wild. And it feels very good too. We played a good amount of it. I need to play more probably, but it's a fun time and I highly recommend. And the soundtrack, while not super a lot of tracks or anything, the soundtrack is really cool. I love it, man. I love it. Scraping off ice, dude. What the crappers? You cut it bad or what? Here's the deal, yo, Ferret. If you just go into view and go to, there's a music player button right here, dude. So if you want to mess around, I haven't messed around with the music player extensively, but I'll show you this. It's kind of a pain in the butt, man. This thing just being on like repeat, there are different repeat settings. There's repeat 1 for repeat once. There's no repeat, and then there's repeat where it's supposed to repeat the entire album. And you can shuffle songs too. But dude, the repeat option on their music player is trash. Songs will just finish and it'll just stop. It doesn't have anything to do with it being the last song in the album or anything like that either. Even if you have it on repeat, it just stops. Their music player is total balls. It drives me crazy. I probably just need to work on trying to get something else implemented to use to play the music. But it's just easy and intuitive because I always have Steam up, you know? Yeah, it's not repeat if it doesn't repeat, right? That's what I'm talking about. It drives me crazy. I probably need to use something else, but it's just so easy whenever I'm starting up the stream every day and I've already got Steam up and I'm like, you know, I've got all these OSTs on Steam that I like to play and they're already downloaded into Steam. It's just real easy, even though it drives me crazy. So I don't know. On that note, that's BPM. Let's cut it. Let's get into the news. Cool. Yeah, before I got in the car, yeah. Just enough to make it bleed, so you know it's there. Yeah. And it's cold, so that makes it feel even better, right? Why aren't you wearing gloves, Doc? Get yourself some gloves, brother. What? It's cold outside, dude. Why aren't you wearing gloves? You got to protect those digits, man. Cold weather wrecks my hands, dude. I've got scarred up hands from being a maintainer way back in the day, man, from working on jets and stuff like that, man. I've got real scarred up hands. So if I'm out in the cold for very long, dude, run in and out of the car, So I drive around with my gloves on, dude. Get a nice pair of leather gloves, dog. I'm not talking about work gloves. Don't hang out in the elements. I drive around with my gloves on. Hold on. I'm like Baby Driver. Check it out. Fedora and a scarf? No. But if you think that I'm not fashion, brother, with my like, you know, Kenneth Cole peacoats on and stuff, man, when I'm dressed up, yeah, dude, I got Kenneth Cole peacoats. Yeah, dude, I got Kenneth Cole peacoats. All right, I don't be rocking a fedora, dog. You don't cover this hair up. You kidding me? Look at this hair. This is Edward Scissorhands hair. You don't cover this up. But dude, some gloves like that. You know what I'm saying? Look at the lining on these bad boys. You know what I'm saying? See the lining? They've even got that nice extended cuff. Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. You know what I'm saying? Got the black and the brown, dog. Black and the brown. Put them on. You just want me to look like a killer on stream, dude. I'm not buying into that. I'm going to look like an absolute maniac on stream wearing those. Play with them all day. Dude, get a nice pair of gloves. I'm telling you, man, no kidding. Whenever I started living up north and having to deal with the harsh winters and stuff, dude, being outside with in the weather and stuff at all, dude, my hands would just start cracking open, getting real dry, cracking open and stuff. And I would have to just be putting lotion on my hands all the time, man, to try and save my hands. And I got a lot of scarring on my knuckles and things like that. Dude, I looked into getting some gloves. I found some that I liked, and my family got some for me years ago for like a holiday or a birthday or something. Dude, I don't go without them anymore in the winter. I don't go without them. They keep your hands warm. They keep my hands from getting all jacked up from the cold weather and stuff. I'm telling you, brother, game changer. Plus, they look dope, dude, when you dress up. You know what I'm saying? Get real leather, though. Get real leather gloves. All right, let's get into this. I've talked enough this morning. Let's go. Uh, yeah, look, man, we've talked about this. Okay, China has lost access to Blizzard titles. Okay, we've talked about this past couple of days. Probably go check January 22nd's edition of Video Gaming News. You'll get an in-depth look at what's going on with this. But I'll TLDR for you, okay? In summary, Blizzard has been in collaboration with NetEase for a very long time to publish games in China. It's not very easy for game developers to publish their titles in China without some kind of Chinese publisher helping them out. An actual publisher out of China helping them get their games published in that country, okay? So Blizzard decided they were kind of done doing business, or they offered, I guess, NetEase an extension of some sort because the contract was dying. It was coming upon its end date. And NetEase said, this is not a good enough contract. And Blizzard said, okay, we're done. Okay, we're done then. And NetEase said, okay, we're done then. And NetEase knew that what this meant for Blizzard. So Blizzard came back and came back to NetEase and said, oh, can we just do like a 6-month extension? Basically like slapped him in the face and was like, can we just do a 6-month extension so we can keep publishing in China while we try to find another publisher to work with? NetEase was like, no. What? Like, what? No, we cannot. So right now Blizzard is Blizzard's without any kind of publishing in China at this point. So about the only way that people that want to play Blizzard games in China can get it done is by use of a VPN. Now, while that is a viable solution, workaround, it presents another obstacle, right? So for anybody that's trying to play competitive type games, whether it be something like Overwatch or StarCraft, because look, even though StarCraft is an older game, StarCraft is still a very, very competitive title, especially in the Eastern Hemisphere. Um, so when you're talking about games like that that require a very nice connection, a good ping, you know, basically what happens, South Korea StarCraft is huge, huge. Yeah, you're right, Ferret. Yeah, yep. But a lot of people still play it in China as well, right? And so what you're talking about is with the use of most VPNs, what it's going to do is create a significant amount of latency in your connection. So these people that still want to play Blizzard games that have to now use a VPN are going to have a lot of lag in their connection, which is going to affect their ability to play the game at their highest level. So while yes, it's a kind of workaround, it's not a great workaround for competitive players. You know what I mean? So that's basically what's going on. We'll have to wait and see what Blizzard's able to work out. Look, China, if you didn't know, has gotten very, 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 very restrictive on the gaming industry as a whole, to the point of where, like, you don't even get to see games being released in that country till about roughly every 3 to 4 months, and it's a very small number. They've basically come out with this regulatory thing from their government that says that it's like permits for all the game developers in that country. They basically go, it's a huge bottleneck is what it is. You've got all these developers down here that are creating all these games, right? And all these games are finished and they're all being pushed up and they're ready to be released, but the government's like, nope, we're not. You can't release the games unless we give you a permit. And then about every 3 to 4 months, they'll send out about, I don't know, roughly an average of about 60 permits so we're talking about all the developers in China. There's about 60 permits every 3 to 4 months that get pushed out across the entirety of developers in that country. So it's a pretty rough kind of situation where they're all kind of sitting there waiting at this bottleneck, and they're constrained and they're all sitting there going, oh God, I hope I'm next. I hope I'm next. I hope that we get a permit to release our game. So you're seeing all these developers at the same time looking to move their development studios and their businesses outside of China at this point too. There's a lot of other things the government's doing, like trying to prevent children under the age of 18 from playing online games more than 1 hour a week. Like there's a lot of wild stuff going on. That can also cause a lot. Player skipping. Yeah. Think you were cheating. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, no. I understand exactly what you're referring to, Ferret. Yeah. Yep. Seen a lot of it. But you're not wrong. Blizzard might be floating a Warcraft 3 Reforged relaunch. Okay. Blizzard's look at all this gaming news for Blizzard. Blizzard's workplace ranking for employees sounds like hell. Uh, yo, I color me not surprised. Okay, of all the things we know about Blizzard over the past decade, really that have come to light about the way that business has been run over the past roughly decade, a little bit more than that. I'm not real surprised at something like that coming to light now. But, we'll see what there is. Yeah, we've already heard, I'm not going to dive into this, an Invincible game could potentially be coming, we will see. Until we get something substantial, I'm not diving into this. That's just speculation, yeah. But it could be very cool. That's a gnarly show if you haven't seen it. Yeah, we saw where the latest update. I'm not going to dive into this either, but Xbox is doing many things for their consoles to become carbon conscious, if you will. You know, reducing energy consumption, going into sleep mode, turning off like a lot of the more energy uh, consuming things that you don't necessarily need to have happen. Um, it's These are options though. These are usually options that you can adjust in the settings of the console themselves. So not every Xbox is going to be utilizing these. It's going to be on like a console to console basis, but this is a step in the right direction, right? They'll probably be moving forward. Their future consoles will be incorporating more of these on a standardized basis, I would assume, right? And we'll just have to see how it goes. Wick, I hope your hand's okay, brother. Yeah, no return in sight too. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big thing that I might have not elaborated on there with the whole Blizzard thing in China. Understand that that means that as far as legitimate publishing in China and giving people access to Blizzard's games moving forward, there is no kind of resolution to this issue in sight, right? So, basically, we have no idea if or when Blizzard will be able to come across another publisher to help them get set back up in China. This is an indefinite kind of situation here for game players in China that want to continue playing Blizzard games. It's a bad look, man. I don't know what happened there between Blizzard and NetEase, but they definitely, and look, that entire, understand that the contract that Blizzard got into with NetEase for NetEase to publish the games in China was huge for NetEase. It is what turned NetEase really. It's one of the major things that turned NetEase into the company it is today, right? So I don't know what went down, but it apparently wasn't good. It honestly seems like Blizzard didn't do their due diligence in making sure that this wasn't going to be a situation. Because look, China is huge. That's a lot of gamers right there. They're losing, right? Uh, yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'm assuming they'll get into you know get into bed with somebody there to publish their stuff. But look, again, here's the thing that to take into consideration also. The fact of the matter is, over the past couple of years, specifically in regards to this situation, over the past couple of years, China has gotten significantly more brutal with their constraints on gaming in that country, right? So the fact that Blizzard already had this like kind of collaboration set up, their games have been published for a very long time in China, uh, was probably a good thing, right? And now them trying to get a new contract going with another publisher over there and probably having to work through an entirely new process of getting this approved through the government to have the games republished over there. It might not be as bad as like somebody that had never had a game published over there at all, but it might be a kind of brutal process. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I'm just kind of, you know, spitballing here. It could present some hurdles with them trying to go with a new publisher and having to go through some kinds of processes, modern processes with that with the government and the new regulations and things like that. You know what I mean? So even if they find a new publisher over there, and I'm sure they probably will sooner rather than later because Blizzard's huge, they'll find some publisher that is willing to help them out because it'll help that publisher out too. There could be some significant hurdles on that side with the government and stuff, but I don't know for sure. Best games on Xbox Game Pass. Take a peek at that. New Assassin's Creed Mirage rumor. Ryzen 7000 X 3D gaming CPUs will be unlocked. Okay, let's take a peek at that. These X3D gaming process or these new CPUs that AMD is pushing out, they're kind of a wild situation. We've never seen the processors hit the market ever that come close to the level 3 cache, memory cache that these processors incorporate. It's literally like 3 to 4 times the memory we've ever seen on a CPU die, level 3 cache, anyways. And but they're also a lower TDP. So I think it's important that we kind of just wait and see. I mean, I'm like this with about any new piece of technology comes out. Look, AMD's been killing it with their new tech, though. AMD has really stepped it up over the past half decade. Their technology has grown leaps and bounds in being able to compete with their main competitors on obviously the CPU side being Intel and the GPU side being NVIDIA. I would say they've made more progress probably on the CPU side than they have the GPU side, but both sides have been significant. And this is a whole new technology that we haven't seen yet. The amount of level 3 memory cache they're able to implement on these CPUs is pretty wild. We'll take a peek at this. But again, with any new technology that comes out, even if it doesn't have some kind of wild new incorporation like this does, I'm always waiting for some good benchmarks to come out before I really, have my own take on what the performance would actually kind of stack up to be. So we'll take a peek right now and see what's going on here. We've talked enough about this. I'm not going to dive into it. I think what people need to know is the Hogwarts Legacy thing with the LGBTQ community. J.K. Rowling obviously has some personal thoughts that, in my opinion, are a bit bigoted, a bit discriminatory against a specific group of people that ultimately aren't hurting anybody else, and as far as the game goes, there's been a lot of controversy about it because a lot of people are talking about how supporting this game is supporting J.K. Rowling. And I think what people need to understand is that this community here, you just need to come be who you are. It's a safe space for everybody. And we, as long all we really care about is you being a good person. Don't be toxic. This is a safe space. Be good peoples. That's what it's about, right? That's what I feel like is lacking in many aspects of the world. Just loving one another for who you are. There's just too much hate for people's differences in the world. The differences that we have are what makes us unique. It'd be a very bland and dull world if we were all the exact same person. You know what I mean? So ultimately, there's and only speak English because I'm a pleb, dude. I'm a language pleb. I respect that people have. I love that people are multi. Quit doing this to me, dude. My own moderator is my biggest troll, by the way. I'm gonna stop right there. You know what you're doing to me. But the developers of this game have tried to state through this process that they haven't really had a whole lot to do with J.K. Rowling in the development of this game. They have conferred with some of her team about the world and the way the world should be developed for the game. And obviously J.K. Rowling is going to be, I mean, anything that's made off of that universe, the Harry Potter universe, is going to benefit her, you know? So, you know, I guess if you look at it that way, then yeah, you know. But that's basically what you need to know about it. And it sucks that there's this amazing, fantastic fantasy world that so many people love that's been really such a bad shadow's been cast over. I mean, because of these discriminatory views that the creator has. It's pretty bad. Wick, bro. The annals of history. Correct. For all the honor, dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you seen that clip, Ferret? It's part of our montage. We were playing the beta of Lost Ark, man, before it dropped officially, and I was reading a scene that said the annals, and I pronounced it the other way. Annals. It is literally Wick's favorite clip of all time. And now, dude, that's why it gets brought up all the time. And it just works very well for the whole soul cleansing thing that is now part of the community as well. You know what I mean? I was like, immediately after reading it too, dude, I just like face palm and I'm like, oh God, dude, what did I just do? I die every morning. Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen it, like at the beginning of all the streams, you won't see it on like the highlights or the VODs that I make of the news segments. But every single day when I start the stream and there's like a 10-minute montage of all the, like, some of the better clips and highlights that we got from the first year of streaming, which was May of 2021 to May of last year. So I'm going to be trying to get some more montages made here pretty quick because I've got a lot more content now to make some more montages. So I'll start trying to play them during like breaks and things like that. But there's one that plays every day at the beginning of the stream, and that's one of the clips. The chest clip, yeah, that was another interaction with Wick. He's like, "Where'd you get that chest?" I was like, "This chest?" Like, you can't buy a chest like this, buddy. Yeah, that's it. That's another one of the clips. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's another good one. I've got a lot of those clips on YouTube, but they're just not public yet. I've got a lot of content to catch up on, but I'll try to get it. I'm working. I'm almost finished getting all the playthrough of Breath of the Wild cut out and highlighted, and as soon as that is out and exported to YouTube, then I'm going to start getting a lot of the older stuff and the Legend of Zelda stuff made public so everybody can see it. Oh, you mean in the game? Yeah. We got some good stuff in the channel. A lot of the highlights are part of the Twitch channel. They're on the Twitch channel. I just got to get them put into like the right collections, the right playlists, but they are there. The stuff on YouTube is not all public yet. I gotta get to work on getting everything put up there. Ubisoft reportedly developing The Crew 3. They better hurry because that company's dying. They might not die, all right? But they're not doing well. I think here's the thing. We've talked about this before. You know, I think what Ubisoft needs is something to set them apart, something to really bring people back into that developer, you know? They're so good at making the things that they've always made, but they're not very good at making anything unique and different. And obviously they've been able to ride that horse for quite a while. But that horse has turned into Roach from The Witcher 3, if you catch my drift. It's a hot mess. It's not working anymore, man. You know what I mean? That horse isn't working anymore. Um, it's not carrying them around as it once did. Okay, so I think that what Ubi needs to do is look outside of what they've been doing for so long, find a way to get good at creating some new unique content and bring people back into their company. These companies that get so big off these franchises that lose sight of being able to create new content are dying because of it, man. I think Ubisoft is just the biggest example of it right now. But there are other ones that are falling into that same rabbit hole, if you will. It's just they just can't dig their way out of it either. It's just all they can do is keep leaning on the stuff they've done for so long, and they have a really really hard time coming out with anything new and unique that really catches anybody's attention and reestablish them as a lead developer in the industry, and they just start sinking. Big PS5 game no longer available to purchase on the PlayStation Store. Let's see what that is. All right, let's go ahead and yeah, talked about it. Microsoft has subpoenaed PlayStation for its defense against FTC lawsuit. Interesting. That's new. Okay, that's some new news on that front of the Microsoft's potential acquisition of Activision Blizzard. So we'll see what's going on there. Excuse me. Yo, I saw a sick. I don't know why this just reminded me, but it was like just catching this picture out of the corner of my eye. I saw a sick tattoo not too long ago. It was just a. It was like I saw it online. It was a tattoo of Beavis and Butthead, and they were both dressed up. One was Skeletor, and one was He-Man. It was like the best tattoo I have ever seen in my life. I am not kidding. It was so flipping good. I'll have to try to find it. I always thought they were fun because I mean, as a kid, I think what it was for me was like it was a taboo thing in my household. My mom didn't want us watching it, but it was one of those things where when my mom wasn't around, my dad would like flip it over to MTV every once in a while. When Beavis and Butthead were on, my mom wouldn't be around. My dad would flip it over there, and we would like sit there and watch it. It was like something we would like just chill with my dad. It was very rare that it would happen. But he'd just sit there and like laugh with us, and we'd like watch it and stuff. So it was like one of those things. Don't tell my mom though. Yeah, I mean, me too. Me too. Yeah, yeah. Yep. I mean, dude, that the MTV was amazing back whenever it was all focused on music, and like music videos were great and everything back then, dude. And then when all they did was get away from that and start trying to do like all the like the live or the real world stuff. The real world stuff was that's once that came about, that's all they wanted to do. Reality television crap. And it just sunk them, dude. That's all they wanted to do. And it just sunk that company, man. That television channel. Dude, so did I. It was so stupid. Interesting. Forspoken shines in its combat and traversal. Interesting take there. I wonder, has anybody else played Forspoken yet? I was so scared about playing that game on release. Did it release already? I didn't think it released yet. Hold on. We'll see. I thought it was releasing in like the next day or two. Oh, yeah? When did it hit? I can't remember what the release date was on it. Yo, this is crazy. Let's talk about this real quick. They've been streaming? Yeah, what was it? January 24th. Oh, so it was it was today. It came today. Okay. Okay. Thanks, dude. Thanks, Ferret. I was thinking it was the 25th for some reason. Okay. So yeah, it came out today. All right, interesting. Interesting. It'll be good. I'm really interested in seeing reviews. I don't know why I was thinking it was the 25th. But thanks, buddy. Thanks, man. I'll be really interested to see, is the 25th dead? Is Dead Space the 25th? Something else is coming out on the 25th, dude. That's the 27th. Dude, I thought something else was releasing on the 25th. Maybe I just had the date wrong for Forspoken. And maybe I just had it wrong in my head. That could be it. That could be it. Okay. This is crazy to me though. The PS5's Lux new controller might be a game if you can afford it. This is the thing, dude. Have you seen there's like Xbox controllers that cost like almost $200, and now what? There's going to be a PS5 controller that's going to cost probably somewhere around the same price. You know, bro, what? Are you flipping kidding me? Yeah, we read about this a few days ago. If you don't know, there was a 9.2 A plus graded Pokemon Yellow. And people say computer parts are expensive. Yeah, dude. Yeah. But people are gonna go spend, $200 on a controller? Yikers, bro. I have trouble spending like 35 to $40 on a controller. All right. That hurts me. Spending like 35 to 40 on a controller. You know? So I can't imagine somebody spending like 200. We'll look at it though. Yeah, there was a 9.2 A plus rated, never opened Pokemon Yellow, still in the cellophane, like US Customs cracked. There was a hard plastic case it was in after being graded and everything, had all the grading on the outside of it. It was official. Customs busted open the plastic case, took a box cutter, and cut the front of the box open. Imagine raging and launching that puppy at the TV, or well, that's what. Oh, bro. Oh my God, Ferret. I almost lost my mind just reading about this. Do they have a picture of it in here? We read about it already, so I don't want to hear. I'll show you the pic. The pic though. Check this out. Check this out, dog. This was a few days ago. Look at this. Look what they did to this, dude. Look, you can see A plus, 9.2, dude. WADA certified. Pokemon Yellow version. This thing had never been opened, dude. And they just straight box cuttered it. I would have lost my flipping mind, dude. I would be in prison right now. I would have lost my mind. Are you kidding me? I would have lost my flipping mind. And not because I ever would have sold this thing. Because that is just where I'm just that passionate about that stuff, dude. I would have gone I would have went straight OA Karen, dude. Livid is an understatement. I don't think I would have been able to control my emotions, dude. I really don't think I would have been able to. Oh my god. I mean, you guys have seen like just the way that I showed off some of my stuff here recently. It's in pretty solid condition. But I've held on to it just because I love my stuff. I take care of my stuff pretty well, but I mean, it's not like in glass cases or anything with like don't get your oils on it or anything. But I take pretty good care of my stuff. I love my gaming stuff. Um, and dude, if I had something like this that customs did this to, I would have lost my mind. I couldn't believe it when we read this the other day. But again, we read. I don't know what's happening with it. This is not anything new. We already read about this. So, oh, dude, I just had to show it again. Raging and launching that like a controller like that at TV. Well, that's the thing is like, um, dude, just a controller like this, like a $40 controller. I think I paid $40 for this thing. That's why whenever, even though I get tilted and I rage from time to time, I never, I take care of my stuff, dude. I don't smash my stuff because I don't want to pay for more things. I like the stuff I have. I'm not going to be breaking my crap. Are you kidding? That's craziness, dude. So yeah, I couldn't imagine having a $200 controller and just smashing the crap out of it. Are you kidding me? I can't imagine smashing a $30 controller. Let alone like, I don't know. That's crazy, man. Sad part, there is no talk. Oh no. No, no, no. No, 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 no. They're all going to be like, "Oh, well, we can't prove that it was one of us and yeah, we had to do it to make sure there weren't any illegal drug game cartridges in there because x-ray machines, you know, aren't a real thing and you know, yeah, it's going to be a big rigmarole, dude. It's going to be a big runaround and that feels terrible. Yeah. Bro, I would have lost my mind. If I smashed a controller, it was probably already broken. Yeah. Gamers say the battle pass has ruined the gaming world. Um, I don't know that I agree with that. And look, you guys, anybody that's been here for very long knows that I'm a big advocate for changing the way that the gaming industry is ruining our world that we love with all the heavy monetization. But there's a big difference between a free to play game because that's become a big deal, right? Uh, if somebody did that to their own cartridge, they are an absolute serial killer savage. I never want to meet that person in my entire life. If somebody did that to their own merchandise, Wick, if somebody did that to their own merchandise and is blaming it on customs, they are a serial killer. I never want to meet them. They're a lunatic. And they scare the crap out of me. But no, we are not 100%. I know, dude. You're not wrong. I mean, bring up a good point. I don't know, no, yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I try to promote that all the time. People seeing things from different points of view and bringing that kind of stuff up. So you're not wrong, dude. It's a good point. I haven't seen anything to say that person didn't do that. I just can't imagine somebody doing that. It is a fair point, dude. It really is. But I never want to meet that person ever in my entire life, if or my afterlife. I don't care. If somebody actually did that to their own Pokemon Yellow. You clipped me earlier. What I do? What I do, dude? Dude. I don't know. Clip that too, I guess. It's a good clip. Okay. Did you put it in Discord? I'll take a look at it. We got some other stuff to look at Discord after the news. The Battle Pass stuff is, I think, if it's incorporated in a nice fashion, there are a few different things to talk about here with Battle Pass stuff, and I'm not going to pull this article up, but I'm just going to give you my take on this real quick. I don't think that any game you have to pay for up front should have a Battle Pass in it. For example, we're looking at a game coming out in the near future, Suicide Squad, that is quite possibly going to be a game that you have to pay for up front, that is also going to have a Battle Pass in it, and that is also going to have a microtransaction shop in it. And that feels terrible. I don't see any reason why you should be paying for a game up front that you also have to pay for a Battle Pass within, and you also are going to have a microtransaction shop within. That is absolutely asinine. So I will be very outspoken against that title if that is the case. Now, on the flip side of that, there that is terrible, right? Yeah. Sounds like Call of Duty. I mean, look, it's not unheard of nowadays, but it's terrible. There's a difference, though, in a free-to-play game that has a battle pass and some like microtransactions, stuff like that, but that can also be played to a great extent or fully without you having to buy into anything, right? I'll give you an example like Lost Ark. Lost Ark was a game that we played to a great extent, and you never had to buy into anything. You could, and there wasn't any necessarily like pay to win stuff. You could pay to progress a little bit faster in the game, but it didn't necessarily give you a pay to win advantage. There was some Battle Pass stuff in there. There was some like microtransact. There was a cash shop where you could go buy like different outfits and skins and stuff like that, pets and things of that nature, right? But it's a very, very, very well-developed MMO. There's a ton of content in there, and you can do basically all of that content free to play. So I think there's something to be said for a game being free to play that is very well-developed, right? Where if you get enough game time out of it that you feel like, you know what, the developers deserve a little bit of my money for allowing me to play this game free for such a very long time, and I've gotten a nice amount of entertainment out of it. I think that's appropriate. I do not think it's even close to appropriate for a developer to make you pay 50, 60, 70 bucks for a game up front, then want you to pay for a battle pass in-game, and want you to pay for other things like skins or pay-to-win stuff in-game as well. It's actually stupid, it's greedy, and all those developers can get wrecked. So the Battle Pass has ruined the gaming world. I don't know that I agree with that notion. I think free-to-play nowadays can be done very, very well. One of the greatest examples I can think of in modern gaming, probably over the last half decade, is Grinding Gears Games doing Path of Exile. Path of Exile, for the longest time, it's always been free to play, and the only thing they ever had were microtransactions for like skins and a little bit of quality of life stuff. You know what I mean? Um, quite often, Ferret. Yep. Well, Path of Exile was doing it. Path of Exile has actually been around for longer than Fortnite has, brother. So that's why they tend to come to my mind before Fortnite will and Riot. Check it out. And probably because I played that game more than I've now that I've played Fortnite. Oh, hey, Ferret, me and you both, brother. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Apologies. Yeah, check it out, Doug. Me and you both, dude. Now I was playing Path of Exile, dude. I've got just over 1,200, buddy. I've got just over 1,200 hours in Path of Exile. I started playing. This is what D3 was supposed to be to me. This is what I always expected Diablo 3 to be. And I bought, again, for anybody that doesn't know, like I stood in line at midnight for Diablo 3. And I haven't played this game, dude, since September of 2020. So we're talking 2.5 years, really, since I've played this game. I stood in line at midnight. I got the collector's edition of Diablo 3. I beat the game, and I was like, that was kind of crap. That was kind of crap. And then I found this. Then I found Path of Exile. And this game came out in 2013, dude. And whenever it rolled out, it was early access. This is a game that rolled out in early access. And it's always been free to play. Always been free to play. And they do have a battle pass, I think, in the game now, because didn't they get bought by Tencent? Or NetEase? I think it was Tencent, wasn't it? Some of the original devs from Diablo 1 made PoE. That wouldn't surprise me. Again, everything that I expected Diablo 3 to be is what Path of Exile actually became. And look, Path of Exile, though, is a deep game. It is, you have to immerse yourself in this. Diablo is more of that title that is for casual type players. You don't have to be in this all the time to do good at it. Like a Diablo 3, right? It's like it's more of a casual RPG player's kind of jam. Path of Exile is a different kind of beast. This thing is gnarly. Aristotle, what's up, buddy? But this is exactly what I was expecting out of Diablo 3. I played Diablo 3 on release. I never picked it back up. I know it turned into something better, but I was so sad about what that game was on release that I beat it and I never picked it back up, and I don't care to. I was so distraught and heartbroken over the fact that that's what Blizzard brought to the table after Diablo 2. I couldn't believe it, and I was like, I don't ever care to play this game ever again. I know it became something better, but that's where I went with it. And I think that's what you have to understand about a lot of gamers. If you don't get them initially, you've lost them potentially long term. And I'm one of those kinds of gamers, But Path of Exile was always, and this is a great example of a free-to-play game. When did Fortnite come out? Like 2017, something like that. Hey, look at me. 2017. You're welcome. Yeah. So that's, Wick, one of the reasons that I think of something like Path of Exile, not only because I've played a lot more of that than I ever have Fortnite, but actually the first time I ever played Fortnite was last weekend, right? But because Fortnite was years behind something like Path of Exile, right? But Path of Exile has always been an example I use for a game that has done a very good job at the free-to-play game, right? They've set an example for developers moving forward on, and I say developers slash publishers. Ferret's right. Ferret corrects me all the time. Developers slash publishers. Now, difference being sometimes you'll get a developer that's also the publisher of the game, like Grinding Gear Games was, right? Same thing with Fortnite. Developer and publisher, right? Yeah, there you go, Ferret. Veristotle, what's up, buddy? How you been? Happy Tuesday, buddy. So, there are good ways to incorporate the free-to-play, but they need to make their money, right? So I think that's the thing that people have to understand. There are a lot of people that like battle passes just shouldn't be a thing ever. I don't agree with that. I think battle passes can be implemented in a very good way. Can they be very scummy also? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely they can. But they can be a very good thing as well for certain types of games that are free-to-play. And I like the free-to-play thing for some titles. I think that free-to-play is a good thing. It allows people to get into a game, experience it, and have some fun with friends and things like that without having to purchase up front, you know? So incorporating nice ways of not doing pay to win and still being able to generate some kind of profitability off of a free-to-play game is important for developers and publishers. So battle passes have been able to do that. Again, they can be done very poorly or they can be incorporated in a very nice way. So I don't necessarily agree that battle passes have ruined the gaming world though, right? Happy today. Been sick with a 19. Dude, I'm sorry. Bro, weren't you just sick before that too? Oh, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC teased by Leaker. Let's stick with this for today. We've been talking a lot. Let's stick with this. That sucks, brother. Oh. What's funny is I remember, Ferret, since you've played a lot of, I'm guessing you remember this as well. You remember playing? Did you play Path of Exile whenever it first came out in early access? You remember playing the game and there was only 2 acts? There was 2 to 3 acts in the game, you know? It was wild, dude. And the amount of content, the how you didn't play it during early access, brother, it was wild. Playing that game whenever it first came out in early access and then seeing the way it has evolved over time is really, really wild. It has gotten so flippin' huge, man, off of just what it was in the beginning of early access. Who's the was it the end of Act 2? Who's the boss at the end of Act 2? Is the end of Act 2 the at the top of the tower with the lightning guy? Who is that? I can't think of his name right now. Or was that the end of Act 3? Might have been the end of Act 3. It's been so long since I played Path of Exile, dude. It might have been just end of Act 2. Too long for me to remember. Yeah, me too, dude. But that's where it ended. That's where it ended. I remember early access being like, you got there, you killed him, dude. That was it. That was it. That's all there was. That's all there was for a while, man. You know what I'm talking about, though, right? Archer class type of characters. Oh, really? Yeah, I played a lot of different characters. Yeah, it's a cool game. It's a cool game. It was like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC teased by Leaker. There's been no word from Game Freak about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, which means anonymous leakers and insiders are stepping in to fill the void. One of the most prominent Pokemon leakers goes by Riddler Coo over on Twitter, and as their name suggests, their leaks are often cryptic. But their latest tease about the aforementioned DLC is not. Using Twitter, the leaker revealed the DLC is so cool, and that they are looking forward to seeing the reaction of fans when it's revealed. Unfortunately, they have left out details pertaining to the most relevant information here, which is when it will be revealed. In fact, this is all the leaker has to say about the DLC, at least right now. Maybe Nintendo Direct, you know? we've been getting like rumor mill stuff that Nintendo Direct was supposed to be coming out starting at the beginning of this month, and we haven't seen anything about it. While this tease doesn't say much, it does have fans excited because of its very obvious implications, which is that at the very least the DLC is cool. I'm cool. I'm hip. And Riddler Coup does not have a reputation of hyping things up to hype things up. So them saying this is all that more noteworthy to fans who can't wait to see how Game Freak improves and bolsters a fairly contentious product in need of improvement and bolstering. As always, we will keep you updated as the situation evolves. In the meantime, take this brief and vague tease with a grain of salt because it's not a tease of the official variety, right? All right. We're going to start seeing some reviews come out of Forspoken, and I'm very interested. The biggest thing that I'm interested in regards to Forspoken, and I've said this before, is really the direct storage implementation of Microsoft's new technology. This is supposed to be some technology for game developers that is able to help offload a lot of like kind of middleman resource processing for hardware. So less loading, making your hardware just not have to do as much processing and stuff through the entirety of what's happening during all of the gameplay and stuff. So Forspoken shines in its combat and traversal video game review. What if you took the gameplay of modern-day Final Fantasy and combined it with the exploration of Horizon Zero Dawn? You get something like Forspoken. The game follows a young woman named Frey from New York as she suddenly gets whisked away into a new world called Athia. Filled with magic and dragons, what comes after is a journey of self-discovery, finding her place in the world, and lots of parkour. Hardcore parkour. Forspoken feels fluid to play and has gorgeous visuals to support its open-world structure. However, there remains some room for improvement in its supporting cast and pacing. When Frey steps into Athia, she meets Cuff, a magical bracelet that imbues her with elemental powers to defend herself. Athia is under threat by something called the Break, which turns people into violent monsters, and Frey is the only one seemingly unaffected by its exposure. The Break is being spread by the four Tantas, once benevolent rulers who've gone mad from it. From there, the game's story unfolds like Avatar: The Last Airbender, in which Frey must take the Tantas down to collect their remaining elemental powers, while also finding a way back home to New York. I don't know. Frey's East Coast origins also provide a really interesting contrast between her and the aristocratic locals in the city of, is it Sipple? Athia's final stronghold. Early in the game, Frey stands trial for being a suspected demon. When asked where she's from, she mentions Hell's Kitchen, which prompts the council to reinforce their claims simply because of the word hell. Many of these kinds of interactions are sprinkled throughout the game, which also makes for entertaining and funny misunderstandings. Forspoken's pacing can be a bit lopsided, as some chapters last much longer than others. Some chapters don't conclude until Frey beats a story boss, while others can be over in just a few cutscenes. Sometimes it feels like the plot is moving too fast, especially in the beginning when Athia hasn't fully opened up yet for Frey to explore. When it eventually does open up, however, the pacing feels much smoother as the exploration helps balance out the fast-paced narrative. The game's side quests, called detours, are welcome distractions that help make Sipple feel like a thriving city and flesh out the personalities of the game's supporting cast. A memorable one involves Billette, council member. Following a tragedy in Sipple, Frey calls out her one sacrifice to save the many mentality, noting that Billette would never put herself in a position to be sacrificed while ordinary citizens carried the greatest risk. However, my main issue is that I wish the supporting cast had more direct involvement in the main story. Without the detours, they're not nearly as interesting as Frey and Cuff. The combat is one of the most fun parts of Forspoken. The real-time system from Final Fantasy 15 puts a bigger emphasis on magic here. Frey can shoot rocks at flying enemies, cut them down with a flaming sword, and mow them down with a flurry of water arrows. There's an incredible variety of different attacks for Frey to switch between at the moment, so fighting never feels stale. Not to mention the spells look breathtaking as lightning rains down and illuminates the battlefield. Forspoken's actions feel like a glimpse of what players could expect from the upcoming Final Fantasy 16 game. What makes Forspoken stand out among its other AAA open world peers, however, is its excellent traversal mechanics. Frey can maneuver her way through Athia's rocky terrain like a flowing river. Feels absolutely exhilarating. Athia's vast and gorgeous looking landscapes are easier to take in because Frey's speed boost when parkouring. As she takes down each Tanta, she gains access to new traversal abilities, including being able to slide across bodies of water. Exploring Athia is simply fun. One aspect to note about Forspoken is Frey herself. One of the game's opening scenes depicts Frey in a courtroom with a judge reading aloud her criminal record. While it feels unintentional, the situation comes off a bit tone-deaf, considering Frey is a black woman in the U.S. Yup. It's also odd that Forspoken's writing team didn't consist of any black writers. Wow. This was a missed opportunity to provide another layer of authenticity to Frey that someone from a similar background could have provided. Still, Frey's voice actor, Ella Balinska, did a great job of portraying her. Despite its pacing flaws, Forspoken is a fun adventure, and the developers nailed the minute-to-minute gameplay with Frey's parkour abilities and magic spells. Dialogue between her and Cuff is witty and memorable, and there's incredible attention to detail in Athia's world and history through the game's many collectibles. There's a lot of potential in both Frey's character and Athia's lore that can make for more exciting stories. Okay, well, there's a good review right there. Again, this is going to be something I want to pay attention to. So apparently George Yang out of Variety has enjoyed it so far, right? But what people were experiencing in the demo, it was a varying kind of review. There were a lot of people that were like, this is cool. There were a lot of people that were like, this is actual balls. Like, this is terrible. So now the demo, obviously, from what we had found out, was not even pulled from the main game. It was something developed as an actual total side piece from the main game. So it wasn't necessarily going to be a great example of what we were going to experience in the full release of the game. So I'm going to pay attention to what people have to say about this game. The thing is, it's on Epic, right? Is it on Steam too? I don't think so. It is. Yeah. Here's the thing. You're going to already, so it came out today. Oh, it unlocks in 3 hours. So there are people that have gotten maybe some early access, I think. Yeah. That's usually the way this works. There'll be some content creators, influencers and stuff that get these types of titles a little bit early. And so I'm not going to dive into a lot of looking at reviews on Steam until probably late this week, early next week. And we will see what people have to say about the game, okay? I always want a game to be good. But this game has had multiple delays. There's just been some stuff in the development process that has seemed a bit sketchy. And it's made me a bit weary of it. So we'll keep track and we'll see what the overall consensus is regarding this game and what people are thinking about it as we move forward, okay? It's been very hyped, that's for sure. PS5's Lux new controller might be a game changer if you can afford it. Spent about a dozen hours playing games with the new DualSense Edge. At first, all the modular PlayStation 5 controllers' new bells and whistles feel extremely superfluous to me. I can't talk. I've been playing video games on standard controllers all my life without issue. And even the settings the controller has doesn't feel like it's actually addressing issues I have in some games. Remember, I can barely even speak my native language, so we've already talked about that this morning. Like a lack of buttons for additional inputs or mapping button combinations for ease of use. But that all changes during a match of Overwatch 2. Just take a drink of coffee. I'm in a firefight playing as Soldier 76, and while I'm holding off my opponent's team well enough, I don't notice a Pharaoh has flown around the fight and into our backline. By the time I hear she's already dropping rockets on my team, as I turn around to face her with the right thumbstick, I also use the back paddle to reload without having to move my thumb to the square button or pull some claw maneuver to do both actions. Because of that split second, I shoot down Pharaoh before she's able to do much damage. That's when the gears start turning in my head about the perks of the DualSense Edge. In most action-oriented video games, the shift between winning and losing a fight can happen in split seconds. The more I use the DualSense Edge and fiddle with its different settings, the more I remember moments over the years where, had I been able to change the kind of things these controllers allow, I might have emerged victorious rather than dying in the milliseconds it took me to push the trigger button down and lift my finger to release it. The controller's adjustable triggers, which allow me to set travel distance between the standard setting and two shorter ones, are a great boon for me in shooters like Overwatch, largely because they make the time to shoot just a little bit faster. But those few seconds add up as a match goes on, and a second can be a difference between a shot fired and your own HP reaching 0. DualSense Edge allows you to create controller profiles and swap them on the fly. Customization also has benefits for those with chronic pain, as adjustable triggers, analog sticks of different heights, and back paddles of varying length give the DualSense Edge several avenues to adjust the standard controller in a way that makes using it more comfortable. I'm going to highlight this. I end up using the shorter back buttons because I have smaller hands anyway, so it feels like a more natural fit for how I hold a controller. There's some folks who have a lighter touch would likely get more benefit out of the longer paddles. That being said, if you're a person who has trouble holding a traditional controller, the DualSense Edge will likely not alleviate your issues. However, Sony does have the upcoming controller named Project Leonardo, right? This is their controller that is for accessibility. The DualSense Edge has a lot of great options for fine-tuning your own controller experience, but it is, at the end of the day, a fairly traditional controller that might not accommodate everyone's needs. Here we go. All of this being said, the DualSense Edge still feels like a luxury item in a lot of ways and has some notable drawbacks for the $200 US price tag. Called it, dude. Now, one that would likely give folks pause is the battery life, which is noticeably shorter than the original DualSense. What? Not that it had great battery life either, but I digress. However, unlike the standard controller, the DualSense Edge comes with a nearly 3-meter long braided US cable and a connector to keep it plugged into your PS5 and charging. Bro, I can buy a flipping charging cable anywhere. Why am I paying $200, roughly $140 to $150 more for a quote-unquote upgraded, better controller if it doesn't have a better battery in it? Sony? What the crap? It's not ideal, but if your entertainment center is set up for it, you can at least charge the DualSense Edge while playing fairly easy out of the box. The DualSense Edge's biggest disappointment is that despite the additional buttons, the actual customization of control schemes is entirely limited to moving existing buttons to the back of your controller. Oftentimes when I play a game on my PlayStation that was primarily built for PC, I find myself hurting for buttons. The most recent example was Final Fantasy 14, which I made the mistake of starting on PS5 rather than PC. Navigating through the game on a controller still feels insurmountable to me on a DualSense Edge. I was hoping the additional buttons would give me a means to assign certain shorthand inputs to the other buttons. But all the back paddles really do is act as replacements for buttons that are already elsewhere on the same controller. Now that I've had the time with it, I realize this goes beyond the scope of what DualSense Edge is actually meant to do. But if you're hoping to use the controller as a way to expand your input options, this is not what you're looking for. The DualSense Edge lets you move any button's input anywhere else on the controller. Want your L2 to act like a circle button? You can. Beyond that, the DualSense Edge feels premium. Beyond that, question mark. The DualSense Edge feels premium. It's sturdy and weighty in a way that makes the original DualSense feel like a toy. It's got a glossy, detailed finish to its touchpad that draws the eye. It feels really good in your hands and looks good when you set it down. But even despite the quality build, I still have to wonder if the average person needs it. If you're not the sickest of online playing sickos, much of the perks of the DualSense offers feel like a luxury. It's objectively better than playing with a standard controller, but it comes at such a steep price. I have a hard time recommending it to the average person, but at the very least, has me thinking about video game inputs differently. So often, the ways we interact with games through controllers is accommodating for shortcomings of the device we've been given. That's how things like the claw grip manifest. We press the face buttons with our pointer fingers because the button we need isn't readily available on the back of the controller where our fingers normally are. Controllers like the Xbox Elite and DualSense Edge are acknowledgments that the modern controllers we use have drawbacks that are worth addressing. even if it feels like a premium device, it's a sign of a well-made one. That it's opened my mind and my gaming to new ways of play. Yo, when are we just going to get the Power Gloves back? Modern Power Glove. You know what I'm saying? We don't need controllers anymore. Not traditional. They just rock Power Gloves. You know what I'm saying? Dude. Modern Power Gloves. Let's go. I'll be going beep, beep, beep. Look, dude. This is let me go back to this real quick. This is what's really sad though, right? In the advanced state of technology that we live in, you know, modern Power Glove is basically controllers for VR. Yeah, quite often. Yeah. It's unfortunate that like what they bring up as a very appropriate topic here in regards to these customizable controllers is that they give people, look, I can attest, I've got nerve damage in my right arm, okay? I don't talk about it very often, but I've got some decent nerve damage in my right arm. Random emote time, by the way. Get him in there. Oh, dude, let's go! Nice! Craigasm, let's go, Ferret. And, you know, it affects some things for me occasionally. And we talk about accessibility all the time. Accessibility comes into play for all kinds of people, whether it be physical disabilities or mental disabilities, what have you. And sometimes there are things like the Project Leonardo here, right, which are needed for significant impairments, right? This allows people that have significant impairments to get into the world that we love. And it's great that there's such a drive for developers. There's such an awareness nowadays in the gaming industry for developers to start producing these kinds of controllers for accessibility for people that have significant impairments, right? This is fantastic. At the same time, there are people that have, you know, minor to moderate kinds of impairments as well, that you can still play on a traditional controller, but is it, you know, always the best option? You know, the way that these are set up just by default? No, it's not. You know, and I can attest to that fact. And I know a lot of other people can too. The thing that sucks is that, like, instead of just normal controllers being made modular, you know what I mean? To where you can buy this, it's a modular device to where, like, the joystick section can be, like, you know, changed out very easily, you know? Not that it would come with those parts. You would need to buy those parts separately or whatever, you know, to where it's easy to change them out if they get busted or broken or anything like that, you know? Or you can change them out for different heights or, you know, tension, different, just whatever is going to be better for people that have different kinds of issues. Or, you know, modular to make these, you know, the controller feel different in your hand or what have you. That's what we should be looking for, you know? Not that you need to go buy a flipping $200 controller off the bat to get some kind of additional accessibility options for people that use a traditional controller. We should be moving towards, and I know why we won't. It's because of money, right? It's because of money, okay? I get it. But I'm always going to advocate for a better world for us as gamers, okay? So, I'm just bringing up a point here, okay? It sucks for us that we can't just buy a controller that could be modular. And it would allow us to go buy additional parts, modular parts that we could pop up. And look, man, I repair things all the time. I'm always fixing things that break, controllers, joysticks, whatever. And it's not real intuitive for a lot of people. So having things that were modular for, first off, easy repair and replacement of parts that have failed would be amazing. But also to make controllers more customizable for people, different hand sizes. You know what I mean? Any kind of, maybe disabilities to make things feel better for you. You're right, Ferret, you're right. Steam Deck is the most recent thing to what I'm describing right now. It's not totally there, but Steam Deck has done Valve has done a great job with the Steam Deck in making a lot of the parts on that device very, very easy to replace, very easy to purchase, right? Low cost, things like that. I'll give you an example. To open an Xbox controller, they have a sticker there. And underneath that sticker is a screw. Like you can see that little break right there. If you break that sticker or pull that sticker off, your warranty is void and null. Right? Whereas the Steam Deck, they're like, yo, if you need to open it up, open it up. Your warranty will still be fine. Valve has done a great job with Steam Deck, right? But, I think it's important that we note that, we shouldn't have to go spend $200 on a peripheral device to play games to get some minor kind of customizability out of it, man. That's craziness. That is almost half as much. It's a little bit less than half as much as a brand new console costs. That's crazy. But again, we're in this world of where, it's all about money. It's very rare that we come across these developers that have a focus on their community of gamers while they would still make money, right? Modular parts and things, they would still make money on that. But there's not a great focus on us as their community as much as it is on just as much money as possible, right? $200, guys, if you want to go be a PlayStation. You could probably also, I'm guessing DJ Khaled will probably have some pillows out before long that you can set the controller on whenever you're courtside at a Lakers game or something. You know what I mean? Lol. Right. Right. Yeah. That's still much, much better than, oh, hey, you poked through this sticker. We can't help you. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. Obviously, if you dive into your Steam Deck and you screw it up yourself, they're going to go, look, man, you did this. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're going to have some print in there, so be careful. That's good to note there, Ferret. Thanks. Blizzard might be floating a Warcraft 3 Reforged relaunch. A new player survey asks whether a soft relaunch of the disappointing remake would bring people back. A new survey indicates that Blizzard might be gauging interest for a massive restructuring update for Warcraft 3 Reforged. According to a report from Warcraft Tavern, Blizzard put out a survey asking what features players would most like to see in Reforged. The question asks how appealing of each of the listed features are from a scale of very unappealing to very appealing. Suggested features include global custom games, an art update, UI/UX revamp, a storage size reduction, and an environmental art rework. The survey also asks players whether a soft relaunch with many of these features would motivate them to play or purchase. The survey also asks various other questions about the remake of the classic RTS game. For example, whether they have purchased the games, how much they have played it, and what has held them back from playing the game. Warcraft 3 Reforged launched in 2020 to widespread player dissatisfaction. Players cited missing features and various bugs. The game was reportedly a victim of poor management and budget cuts. Blizzard claimed that it would continue to support the game and initially released hotfixes and patches. After a long gap without updates, Blizzard added ranked play, leaderboards, player profiles, and most recently, custom campaigns. Whether a soft relaunch is in the cards for Warcraft 3 Reforged is yet to be seen. However, it at least seems like Blizzard is considering it. Here's what I'm interested in. There's been a little bit of talk of, if Microsoft purchases Activision Blizzard, how long do you think it would be before we got new Warcraft and new StarCraft games? Or do you think we will? It's an interesting topic. Look, Warcraft is the game Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2. Those are the games that initially, and Diablo 1 really set Blizzard up for success moving forward. And Diablo 2 is what blew them up, right? Turned them into what, you know, everybody has known them for. And World of Warcraft, obviously, after that, right? Stop rocking the boat. You're making me seasick. That was my favorite part. And you do it one more time to the boat. You get the throw up sound. You remember that? You remember that? Yeah, yeah. Those were so good, dude. Those were so good. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I don't want to see current Blizzard remake those games. I would rather wait until Blizzard hopefully turns into something a little bit better than what it has been. And I don't think that's going to happen unless somebody takes them over. Bobby Kotick has to be gone, dude. They've got to revamp that entire business. Activision Blizzard has to be restructured, dude. It's got to be broken down and restructured. They've got to get rid of the toxicity in there. Bobby Kotick's a big part of it. And I don't think that like a yes man like Mike Ibarra, that's who I see Mike Ibarra being a yes man. Diablo Immortal. Rah, rah, rah. Dude, that's not who I want in that company either. So, but it's an interesting idea to think about. StarCraft, Warcraft, those kinds of RTS games coming back. Sorry. Current Blizzard this unit. Oh God. Yeah. Don't you have a phone to play it on too? Ferret, dude. We are always like, dude, I'm telling you, man. All right. Blizzard's workplace ranking for employees sounds like hell. A manager has reportedly been fired for speaking up against it. Oh, Jesus, dude. I couldn't imagine working at this flipping place, dude. A story ran on Bloomberg earlier today with the headline, Blizzard manager departs in protest of employee ranking system. Sounds very businessy. Maybe something that would land on the LinkedIn newsfeed of an HR manager. But the stuff it's describing is important because it sounds absolutely dystopian. Here's how that employee ranking system is described in the report. In 2021, Blizzard, a unit of Activision Blizzard Incorporated, implemented a process called stack ranking, in which employees are ranked on a bell curve. Managers must give low ratings to a certain percentage of staff, according to people familiar with the change who asked not to be named, discussing a private matter. Managers were expected to give a poor developing status to roughly 5% of employees on their teams, which would lower their profit-sharing bonus money, could hamper them from receiving raises or promotions in their near future, as well as setting those specific employees up to be the first ones to be let go. Understand that. If you're implementing a process where you have to rate employees low, regardless of whether they're performing at a low level or not, those are going to be the first employees that get let go. That's terrible. You have to forgive me here, as despite my tenure in this job, I still live and work in Australia, and so aren't fully up to speed on the specifics of American office conditions. But what the flip? You're telling me this company has implemented a system where 5% of its workforce, even if they're doing just fine, even if they're doing a great job, will be targeted and suffer financially just to meet a quota. Yep. No wonder people are pissed. One of those people, Brian Birmingham, A co-lead developer on World of Warcraft Classic got so mad that, according to Bloomberg's report, he emailed staff last week to express his frustration with the system. Exactly. This is what's wrong with corporate America. And I've talked about this so often. I've seen it in my own companies I've worked for. Um, I've seen it in companies my friends work for, in companies that my loved ones have worked for. It is rampant. And it is never, hardly ever about taking care of your people. It's almost always about the bottom line, which is money. What is crazy about that is that the most successful businesses are the ones that take care of their employees, because a happy employee, right, is one that loves to come to work, is one that will work hard for you, that will produce top line quality content for you. And I don't understand why management and businesses don't get this process. It's terrible, man. When team leads asked why we had to do this, World of Warcraft directors explained that while they did not agree, the reasons given by executive leadership were that it was important to squeeze the bottommost performers as a way to make sure everybody continues to grow. This sort of policy encourages competition between employees, sabotage of one another's work, a desire for people to find low-performing teams they can be the best performing worker on, and ultimately erodes trust and destroys creativity. Yeah. Birmingham goes on to say you can't work under a system like this, which he and other managers who were asked to keep it a secret had managed to circumvent or skip for the last few years, but which had recently begun to be enforced. He reportedly told staff he would be leaving the company if the policy was not reversed. But shortly after the email was sent, he was called into HR and terminated. If you work at Blizzard and have been impacted by this policy and would like to share your experiences, contact Kotaku, please. Please contact Kotaku so we can find out more about the seemingly never-ending, scummy, toxic crap coming out of Blizzard. Let's go. Brian Birmingham, thank you for standing up for what should be the standard in, or for standing up for what should not be happening in businesses. That's a terrible incorporation for rating employees, and most people don't have the gumption, man, to stand up for what is right. I know that it's not always gumption. A lot of it's the premise of losing your job, and you know, that's a very daunting idea. Being without a job, being without a career, being without sustainability in your life, and that's a tough thing. So, but the people that feel it's worth bringing this to light and standing up for what is right, there's something to be said for the individuals that are willing to do this kind of thing and bring it to the attention of the rest of the world. So, Brian Birmingham, I wish you the best of luck, my friend. Hopefully, you'll be able to come at Blizzard for a wrongful termination suit here or something, because that sounds terrible. And whatever happens, hopefully Brian will be able to find a better career moving forward. Hopefully a company that finds Brian as a somebody that has a great business-minded moral compass. A great company will reach out to Brian and be like, yo, you sound like the kind of person we want to be a part of our management process here. So come work for us. Because Blizzard is not that place, obviously, you know? Feels bad. Best of luck to you, Brian. Thanks for standing up for what's right, man. Best games on Xbox Game Pass. It's all about RPGs for January. Monster Hunter Rise and the Persona series are the top new Game Pass titles for the month. Yeah. We'd already kind of hit on this, so I'm just going to hit it real quick. Did these already come out? They already hit, right? I think it was like the 18th or something. Yeah, they're all already out. They should already be on the subscription service. So if you didn't know, those are on the service now. CNET, shut up. Monster Hunter Rise, Persona 3 Portable, and Persona 4 Golden. Okay? New Assassin's Creed Mirage rumor has good news for fans. Ubisoft has had a challenging few years, but during this time, one thing has remained steady: Assassin's Creed. It's about all they can do. I'm sorry, man. It's not all they can do, but it almost. While there's plenty of debate over whether the quality of the series has dipped as it has gradually transitioned from a linear stealth game to an open world action RPG series, what isn't up for debate is the series' commercial success. In fact, recent installments like AC Valhalla and Odyssey are some of the best-selling games in a long-running series with lots of installments. That said, the next mainline installment, Mirage, is going to be smaller in scale according to Ubi. We've talked about this. They're trying to get back to the basics of what AC always was. They've had a lot of criticism about the worlds have become too big, takes too much time to get through these worlds. So AC Mirage is supposed to be smaller in scale according to Ubi, and because it's going to be different than the last few installments, some fans have wondered how it will compare in terms of quality. According to a new rumor, Ubi is expecting the game to do very well. So, well, yeah, there's a lot riding on it doing well. Let's be honest. So either it thinks it has another hit on its hands, or people will buy the game no matter what because it's Assassin's Creed. Because that's what a developer like Ubi does, right? For now, it's hard to know how carried away fans should get with this estimation, but it does seemingly put to bed any concerns that the game is going to be of inadequate quality. Well, we'll see about that. If you want to see what there's an entire like description of what the game is supposed to be. We know that it's being set in Baghdad. Yeah. So, but if you want to read it, it's right there in chat. Okay. The new AMD Ryzen 7000 X3D gaming CPUs will be unlocked for overclocking. Maybe. Product pages for the chips briefly mentioned. Excuse me. Briefly mentioned overclocking, so naturally people got excited. Let's wait and see if it's real. Okay. So it's worth noting outright that the official product pages for the upcoming 7000 X3D with the 3D V cache have removed the note about overclocking. That didn't stop several people from noticing that there was a specific mention of, quote, unlocked for overclocking, yes, pointing to the new line of X3D CPUs supporting base overclocking like the full Ryzen 7000 lineup. See it right here. Yeah, see that. It wouldn't be the first time this had happened, as not that long ago, a Valentine's Day release date of February 14th was listed before it was removed, and AMD chimed in that it was an error, so this could be another typo or mistake that has since been corrected. If it wasn't, AMD was planning to announce that these 3D V-Cache powered chips feature an unlocked design for overclocking. Quite often they do. That would be an excellent addition to the lineup. The removed overclocking feature in the specs also noted AMD's recommendation that users use auto-tuning options like Curve Optimizer. Could have been an error, as the stacked L3 cache on the chips are very sensitive to high temperatures, and overclocking is all about pushing thermals to the limit. This means that they added sensitivity that could be detrimental to the overall stability of the chips, not to mention potentially lead to faults. Yeah, the chips are launching next month, like the previous Ryzen 7 5800 X3D CPU. They're expected to be absolute beasts for PC gaming, okay? Excuse me, overclocking support will undoubtedly be a big plus for custom builders, though it's probably not something most users will even need to tinker with when it comes to performance. Yeah. Modern chips, I mean, I remember like I've still got a Bulldozer 8300 Black Edition, 8350, something like that, in my old PC from AMD, and I was always like manually overclocking that thing and tinkering with it and stuff like that. Nowadays, you don't need to do it as much, man. You really don't. I mean, it's always fun to if you're a techie, if you're a techie, it's always fun to kind of mess around with that kind of stuff a little bit. You know, it's hard not to whenever you just kind of get that itch. But especially with the improvements in thermal dissipation that we've come up with nowadays. And you see really wild stuff like people putting entire PC setups in mineral oil because while it's a liquid, mineral oil does not conduct electricity. So you'll see a lot of wild stuff with that, or people using dry ice, all kinds of wild stuff. Outside of your normal just like water cooling or air cooling heat sinks and stuff to do some wild overclocking stuff. But we'll see what's going on with the 7000 series if they're going to be unlocked for overclocking. But people will definitely want to be careful because the for real, submerged mineral oil. Yeah, it's some wild. There's some really cool builds out there you can see too. A lot of people don't know that it's mineral oil. They see these builds that have been like submerged. People that aren't real, like tech enthusiasts and stuff, they see these builds and they just think it's like water or something. I've had a lot of people go like, how did they put it in the water? And it's like, that's not water, dude. Don't put your PC in water, dude. Now, that's like a fun little project, but dude, that's a hot mess too. That's a hot mess. And while it's really cool, it looks really neat too. But if you have something fail, dude, that's an entire mess to be dealing with. And ultimately, the only reason you really want to do that is for some significant, like just for the aesthetic purposes of if you're willing to dive into that, or for some significant overclocking stuff. Yeah, no, that wouldn't last long. No, it wouldn't. No. So it's some cool stuff to look into though if anybody's interested. There are a lot of builds out there that have been done in like watertight cases that have been filled up with mineral oil and or just like aquariums. You build in an aquarium, with mineral oil filled up. It's really neat looking. It's really neat. You can see the fans inside pushing the water around and stuff. It's really cool stuff. But be very careful if you're. We're gonna keep track here. We're gonna see what again. Does it show? Look at the level 3 cache here. Okay, let's take a look at this. You look at the level 1 cache, 1 megabyte. Level 2 cache, 16 megabytes here. The level 3 cache is 128 megabytes in these chips. That is a significant upgrade in technology. You're usually only seeing like what? A norm is about double your level 2. So roughly 32 megs. If anything, you're reaching like triple this, but not that often. Usually your level 3 is going to be about double your level 2, something like that. Like what's a 5900X running? Let's just look at level 3. 64 megs. Yeah. So like a 5900X, which is what I run in this PC, you've got 64 megs of level 3 cache, and that's pretty solid. But it's double that. It's double that, which is incredible. This is a huge upgrade in technology, but they're not wrong. This presents a different kind of scenario for thermal dissipation and needing to be very careful with the temperatures that are being put into the chip. So what you'll also see is what is the 5900X TDP? So what is it, 105? Wait, really? Oh, at 120? A 5900X TDP is 105? Interesting. I thought it was higher than that. Okay. So, well, that's learning for me. Learning something new every day. But yeah, again, we'll get some more information as more stuff pops out over the next month on these releasing. But Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, fair. Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, so these are going to be a little bit higher of a TDP. Stop that. So, but what's dude? I'm much more informed. And we're talking about a 7950 X3D here, right? This is a 16 core, 32 thread CPU. That is a beast of a processor, and with 128 meg cache. What's your level 3 cache on the 5800? Do you know? What is I don't know. We'll look into this. Well, we'll keep moving. We're getting long on the news segment. When we get closer to the 7000 X3D series popping out and we get benchmarks, it's 32. Okay, yeah. We will bump up these new AMD processors against the latest and greatest Intel, and we'll have a bit of a benchmark comparison and stats comparison on these processors to give everybody an idea about how the price versus performance and just how each of the lineups are kind of doing in relation to each other, okay? But for now, just know that. It looks like we might be getting some overclocking on here, but people are going to need to be careful because this level 3 cache, this amount of cache that we've had or that we're getting in these processors is something we've never seen before. And it's going to be, you're going to need to be careful with it, with the heat. Ubisoft reportedly developing The Crew 3. While 2022 was a tough year, yo, Ferret, thanks for that info, dude. Tough year for Ubi. The publisher has big plans for 2023, including a possible return for The Crew. According to Insider Gaming's Tom Henderson, a new game in the series is slated for release in the next fiscal year. So, gaming fiscal year is coming to a close. We're like in Q4 right now of this fiscal year. The gaming fiscal year does not line up with the calendar year. Fiscal year for gaming runs April 1st through March 31st. So we're literally hitting the end of the 2022 fiscal year on March 31st. Then we'll hit 2023's fiscal year starting April 1st. And that will run from April 1st of this year through March 31st of next year, okay? According to Insider Gaming's Tom Henderson, a new game in the series is slated to release in the next fiscal year. Yeah, dude. Which ends in March 2024. At this time, no platforms have been announced, but PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series XS all seem like a safe bet based on the history of the series. So this is what I've been saying, Ferret, because most people don't realize that gaming, a lot of different industries run on a different fiscal calendar than what the normal yearly calendar is, right? And I don't know why that is. It's just happened at some point. And that's what gaming's is, right? So what I've been telling everybody is, so far, Xbox has not had a great 2022. Yeah. And Xbox and Bethesda, man, my throat is a little jacked. Sorry, guys. Okay, I think we're good. Xbox and Bethesda pushed their games back, their big games, right? Redfall and Starfield. So the fiscal year isn't done, though. A lot of people think the fiscal year was finished at the end of the calendar year, right? So since both of those games got pushed back, they were both slated as like first half of this calendar year to release. My assumption was that they're going to try to get one of those games released before the end of the fiscal year. Yeah. You like that, Tabo? What's up, buddy? So I'm guessing Redfall, they're probably going to try to get Redfall pushed out before the end of the fiscal year. So before March 31st to try to push their numbers up a bit. And then they'll probably try to get Starfield released as a title for their next fiscal year, which would be after April. They'll probably release it sometime in the middle of the summer, I'm guessing. That's just my assumption, though. 2 mock exams so far? Word up. How do you feel about them? It's good to see you, buddy. I'm good, man. I'm good. At this time, no platforms have been announced, but PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S all seem like a safe bet based on the history of the series. Henderson has proven to be an incredibly reliable source in the past, but readers should still take this with a grain of salt until we receive an official announcement. Henderson's tweet about The Crew 3 can be found embedded below. ICYMI, Ubisoft's unannounced major IP for FY24 that was referred to during this week's emergency investors meeting is indeed The Crew 3. Interesting. Henderson went on to state that the new game is being developed under the working title Project Orlando and was originally envisioned as DLC for The Crew 2. While the previous game had players exploring the contiguous United States, Crew 3 will apparently task players with exploring a Hawaiian island, though which Hawaiian island is not specified, according to Henderson. Ubisoft sees the game as a potential competitor with Xbox's Forza Horizon franchise. Yeah. Plans are constantly changing in the video game industry, and a number of Ubisoft games have seen substantial delays over the years, so fans shouldn't get too excited just yet. However, these rumors of the racer's return should be good to hear for fans of the first two games. The Crew released in 2014, followed by The Crew 2 in 2018. Both of those games were developed by Ivory Tower, which Ubisoft purchased in 2015. All right, we'll see. We'll see. Oh. Think you did pretty good so far? Good. Tomorrow's English. The day after is French. And after is Authority of Financial Markets. Yikers, dude. I had to take a class in my uni whenever I was going for my higher education. It was a business class based on what did they call it? It was basically all about supply and demand. It was supply chain something. Dude, it was some crazy math. It was a math class. It was labeled business, but this entire supply chain something, man. And it was gnarly. I think it was like over half the class failed. Over half the class failed. And the entire premise of the class was like learning and memorizing all of these different these mathematical formula for determining like supply chain management. That's what it was. It was all like supply chain management stuff. And it was wild. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I didn't fail. I did pretty well, actually. But it was funny because all these other people in the class were like failing their tests and stuff, man. And it was brutal. It was a brutal class. I was not expecting it. I was just expecting some business class based on like, the premises and theories and stuff like that around supply chain and managing supply chain. Dude, it was all math. It was all math and formulas and stuff. It was crazy. Big PS5 game no longer available to purchase on PlayStation Store. A big and upcoming PS5 game is no longer available to pre-order and purchase on the PlayStation Store. If this sounds peculiar, it's because it's not an extremely common occurrence. Furthermore, if you did purchase the game in question on the PlayStation Store, it looks like you will be getting a refund from Sony. In 2023, there are many big and highly anticipated game releases. None have been longer coming than Ubisoft Skull and Bones. Up until last week, when the latest delay for the game was announced, the Pirate game was scheduled for release on March 9th. Now it's scheduled for release sometime in the window of April 1st of this year. It's literally scheduled for the entire. It could release anytime in the fiscal year of next year, 2023's fiscal year for Ubi. April 1st of 2023 to March 31st of 2024. That is the 2023 fiscal year for the gaming industry. So again, we've talked about this. Funny enough, or sadly, if you want to, depending on how you want to look at it, this has become like, I don't know what you can do besides just make a mockery of this, but Skull and Bones had Ubisoft conducted an entire presentation specifically for Skull and Bones. Was it September of last year? I think it was September. It might have been October. I think it was September though. And they were just adamant. They were finally releasing this game. At that time, there had been 4 delays already, I think, and over like what, a 5-year period. Now we're talking like it's been 6 to 7 delays over a 5-year period, roughly. And this is just absolutely insane. I would stay. My advice to anybody that is anticipating this game, don't buy it on release. Don't pre-order this. Don't buy it on release. Stay far, far away from it and watch it first. Get some impressions of what this game has to offer before you decide to spend any money on this. So now it's scheduled to release in the coming fiscal year. Neither PlayStation nor Ubisoft have revealed why the game is no longer available to purchase on the PlayStation Store, nor have either commented on why the deluxe edition for the game has been yanked entirely. A listing for the base version of the game remains on the digital storefront, but now there are only the options to wishlist and follow, not pre-order. Meanwhile, on Reddit and Twitter, users have revealed they have started to receive refunds for their pre-orders. While it's not uncommon for pre-orders to be canceled when said game no longer has a concrete release date as a result of a delay, this explanation does not cover the disappearance of the deluxe edition from the PlayStation Store. As for the game itself, Skull and Bones began development 10 calendar years ago. In 2013 at Ubisoft Singapore as the studio's first game. It was then revealed in 2017, 4 years later, and scheduled to release in 2018, 5 years later. With several delays since then, it now may not be released until 2024, if ever. If ever. They've been on a break, yeah. I don't know. I don't believe this game will ever release. I mean, it probably will, but I just don't believe it at this point. In the context of video game history, it's one of the most delayed games ever and one of the longest game developments ever. Jeez. Last article I have, it's a long news segment today. We've had a lot of good discussion, though, so I appreciate that. If anybody has anything to add that we would like to discuss, right, that maybe I haven't hit on today or in previous news segments, let me know in chat and we'll discuss it before we move on to what will probably be Day 7 of the Forest if Pinky's able to hop in there and continue our gameplay today. Otherwise, we'll be jumping into some more of Yoku's Island Express. Cool. Microsoft has subpoenaed PlayStation for its defense against FTC lawsuit. The Xbox maker wants Sony to divulge information on its business. Microsoft has served Sony Interactive Entertainment with a subpoena as it looks to build its defense against a Federal Trade Commission lawsuit. According to a court filing, the Xbox maker wants Sony to divulge information it believes is relevant to its case, which may include confidential details that Sony would be reluctant to share with its rival if possible. Negotiations between Sony Entertainment of America, or wait, that's not Sony Entertainment of America. It's Sony, what's the SIE? Sony I can't remember what the I stands for. Dang it. Interactive Entertainment. Excuse me. It's up there. I'm such a three-head. Sony Interactive Entertainment and Microsoft, as to the scope of Sony's production and a discovery schedule, are ongoing, the filing reads, referencing unspecified documents it has requested. Following a week-long extension, Sony has until January 27th to move to limit, quash, or otherwise respond to the subpoena. In December, the FTC announced plans to sue Microsoft in a bid to stop its $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which the regulator argues would enable the company to suppress competitors to its Xbox console, subscription content, and cloud gaming business. Among other concerns, the FTC and Sony have expressed worries that the deal would significantly reduce PlayStation's ability to compete, given that it would see Microsoft gain ownership of the Call of Duty series, which Sony has called irreplaceable. This is so crazy, though. Significantly reduce PlayStation's ability to compete. PlayStation has always been ahead of Xbox, though. I don't understand that premise. How can you argue that it's going to reduce your ability to compete when you've always been ahead of Xbox anyways, in virtually every capacity? So Xbox has found a way to give themselves an edge, and PlayStation's trying to shut it down by saying, oh, we won't be able to compete with you if you do this. So Xbox has found a way to give themselves an advantage, and Sony's going, oh, wait. That'll put us at a disadvantage. And we don't want to be at a disadvantage because we've always been at an advantage. So who's being anti-competitive here? In their responses to the FTC's complaint, Microsoft and Activision have argued that their merger would be pro-competitive and benefit consumers by making the Call of Duty publishers' games more broadly available. Yeah, I mean, dude, you can look at the numbers. That's why Microsoft is probably trying to subpoena Sony right now for numbers, because the numbers that we have publicly already, we know throughout the entirety of the history of Sony and Xbox being alive and active in the gaming market, Sony has always outdone Xbox, or PlayStation has always outdone Xbox by double on like console sales and proprietary software and stuff like that. So it's just crazy to me that like this is the argument from Sony and PlayStation in regards to this acquisition, because really they're the ones being anti-competitive in it. It's not a good argument in my opinion. Is there going to be some anti-competitiveness that comes along with this? Absolutely. But the way Sony is presenting it, to me, makes them look anti-competitive. You know? I don't know. In a bid to address regulatory concerns, Microsoft recently said it had offered Sony a 10-year legally enforceable contract to make each new Call of Duty game available on PlayStation the same day it comes to Xbox. The FTC said earlier this month there had been no substantive settlement talks with Microsoft over the proposed acquisition. If it goes to trial, the case will be judged during hearings set to take place in August of this year. Funny enough, Nintendo bought into a 10-year agreement with Microsoft already. Sony shot it down. Microsoft offered Sony a 10-year contract to make Call of Duty available, an extension. Because Sony's already on a 3-year agreement. They've got 3 years left on the current contract with Activision to keep Call of Duty, for Call of Duty to be on their platform. And I'm pretty sure this was an extension. So this would have made Call of Duty be on PlayStation for 10 years after that. And Sony shot it down. And again, Sony's going to shoot down everything right now, unless it was something outrageous like Call of Duty would be on their platform forever at no cost to them. It would have to be something stupid like that, because Sony wants it to look as anti-competitive as possible, so they're not going to agree to anything. And Nintendo, as soon as Sony shot down that 10-year contract that Microsoft offered them, Microsoft took that same contract or a similar contract to Nintendo and said, how would you like to have Call of Duty on your platform? And Nintendo said, we'll take it. And then Nintendo made Sony look stupid. So if Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard comes to fruition, Call of Duty will be on Nintendo platforms for the coming 10 years. The next 10 years at least. Know so much about this? Ferret, I agree. It was actually an incredibly smart move, first and foremost on the part of Microsoft, to go, oh, wait, you don't want a 10-year contract? Let's see if the other main console maker, who is also the other Japanese company, will take it. And Nintendo, like right away, they're like, yeah, we're in. Let's go. And it was a smart move on both of their parts. I agree. Tabo, I love the gaming industry, man. This is my passion. You know, it's easy to remain knowledgeable whenever I do this every day, and when you're passionate about something. I mean, look, I can only you know, my parents tried to drive this home to me when I was young. Try to get into something, try to do something that you're passionate about, something that you love, and it's a life changer for you, you know. And I don't think anybody can ever really understand the gravity behind that sentiment until you find yourself in that situation. And that has been what this is for me. It has absolutely changed the way I look at life. I don't know why I have such an interest in the industry, why I love gaming so much. And it's not just playing the games, though. It's about the industry as a whole. I don't know what it is about it that, because I'm not a developer. I never have been. I'm a tech guy. I've always been a tech guy. I've always played games. I've got a degree in IT. So to an extent, you know, I've got a lot of knowledge just in general about things that kind of correlate well into the industry. But I just have a huge drive for what the industry is about, man. I don't know why. And so, I don't know. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I don't know. I love this stuff, man. But it's you know, you guys being here and being a part of it's a big deal to me too. You guys keeping me engaged and talking about these things with me, and I love that. So everybody, shout out to everybody that was part of the news segment today. You guys rock. Thank you very much. And to everybody that's always a part of keeping this community going and creating such an amazing space, inclusive, safe, welcoming, fun, entertaining spot for all of us to be a part of every single day. You guys rock very much. Thank you. We're going to move on to doing some gaming stuff, man. That's the Jam-a-Lam. So we've got, I'll have to wait and get in contact with Pinky here and see what's going on. Let's get a little bit of music going. So we'll see. Pinky's been a bit wrapped up in some work. We've been playing The Forest with Pinky, and he's one of our mods, an amazing individual. He's a mod. He's created a couple of emotes for us here in the channel. He's a great supporter of what we do here, always. Has been for a very long time. And we're in the middle of our Forest playthrough, and we're progressing very nicely, but I don't want to play the game without him, even though I could. So yesterday we went and started playing Yoku's Island Express, and that was a lot of fun too. It's a Metroidvania. It's a very cute Metroidvania pinball type game, which is very, very neat. And either way, we'll be moving on to one of those two titles. Cool. To anybody that is checking out this content, if you're enjoying the video gaming news segment or any of the other content that you've been exposed to here, the playthrough stuff, the clips, we have a good time. And I would say see what you can do about coming and hanging out with myself, the rest of these amazing people that are part of this community. Whenever we go live at 6 a.m. CST every single day, and we start all of our streams off with our video gaming news segment before we jump into whatever gaming content we have slated for the rest of the day, okay? Other than that, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we will catch everybody tomorrow for what will be January 25th edition of Video Gaming News, and more Forest or Yoku's Island Express, all right?